Hey, it's Ethan here, eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuat Piston Pro Hitch Bike Rack, how it fits on the back of our 2023 GMC Yukon XL. Like I mentioned, it is a two-bike, platform-style bike rack capable of supporting up to 67 pounds per bike using this dual wheel mount design with the pistons that we'll get into once we unload our bike. So that's going to be something that sets this bike rack apart. Because it doesn't make any frame contact, if you do want to transport some bikes that might have carbon frames, might have weird alternative frames, or maybe you have some e-bikes that have some kind of fenders on them, or just a really nice paint job that you don't want to damage, it's going to be a really nice way to get them where you need to go. One of the other main features that this bike rack does offer is the ability for it to tilt away with the bikes loaded. So using this lever here in the front, you might have to lift up on the bike rack just a little bit to release it. Once you do, it tilts pretty aggressively. So I will say that if you wanted to lower it and you had a bike on the front, it might be a little bit tricky, but we found that once we do tilt it away, we have plenty of room to open up our hatch, because it does, again, tilt pretty aggressively. And there's plenty of room back here to get down if I wanted to sit, change my shoes, get helmets, water, anything I might need out of the back. I could do that as well. When you're ready to remove the bike, that's where we actually see that piston action happen. So you do have to hold on to the frame of your bike the whole time, because once you release tension on one, the bike will move. But if we hit these releases down at the bottom, you can see that the arms slide out. They don't go a ton off right away, but if we push them down, they will go down far enough to get us clearance to get our bike out of the way, which we can do. On the wheel hoops themselves, you can see that you are able to adjust where they mount. In our case, we're just here at the second one, but it's a nice feature to hold on to your tire. As we ratchet it down, you can hear it, making those little micro adjustments so it can hold on to your bike. And we can get a closer look at the trays themselves, capable of supporting a wheelbase of up to 53 inches and a tire width of 5 inches. On the top of the rack, with it out in this position, you can see that there is a lock core and a spot for your cable lock to fit in. So if you want to use the cable lock to wrap around the frame of your bike and store it right here, you can do that. Also, if you're curious to know how much space you're going to add to the back of your vehicle if you live with it in this position, I'll get a measurement just so you can understand how far that will be. So from the bumper to the furthest point back is going to be probably this end of this arm here at 27 inches. So for a two-bike platform rack, it doesn't actually stick out that far. If we want to get a little bit of ground clearance to understand how high we're going to need to lift our bike, from the ground to the tallest tray here is 32.5 inches. So if you do have a heavier bike, that's how high you're going to have to lift it. And from the closest point to where you're actually going to be hitting the ground, there is a pretty good rise, so that's about 30.5 inches. If we want to save space, we can actually fold it up using the same lever as we did before, just lifting up on the rack again a little bit, and you hear it click into place, and we can get a new measurement to understand how much distance we're going to be saving. So from the bumper to the furthest point back now, it's just over a foot. So that saves a ton of space in that case. Another nice feature about this rack is that it has a built-in light kit. So if you do have it folded down and someone's driving behind you, they'll know that it's there. In the event that it blocks your taillights, it's nice that they're there. In our case, you can see that we do have plenty of visibility for our taillights, so it's not a huge deal. Also, it doesn't sit up that high, so we still are able to see the license plate a little bit. And the backup camera will probably be at least partially obstructed, but you can see over that just a little bit as well. While we're on the subject of those lights, your vehicle will need to have 4-pole wiring for them to work. In our case, we do, and it fits right here. And the actual wiring itself does have these magnets on the end that allows it to stick, so they're not going to be bouncing around everywhere while you're driving. The shank itself is a 2-inch shank that fits into our 2-inch receiver tube, held in place by this pin with a lock core. That is key to those locks we talked about earlier. And it's all held down with the security anti-rattle in the back, which you will need the included Allen key to tighten down. The Allen key that I just mentioned is stored actually on the bike rack, which is nice. It's not tool free, but it is stored right here, so you won't have to worry about forgetting it. And you can lock that down as well using the same key system as we just mentioned. Overall, the Kuat Piston Pro is a premium option, one of the more premium bike racks that we do offer. And you see that with the built-in piston system and the 4-pole wiring that allows these lights to work, and basically just the build quality in general. I will say if you don't need all the bells and whistles that are included, you might want to check out something like the Rocky Mounts guide rail. It's going to hold the bike in pretty much the same way, but you'll lose out on those features that I just mentioned, as well as a little bit of tire width, and that's what makes the Kuat Piston Pro so special, and it's a really nice fit overall on the 2023 GMC Yukon XL.
We're going to take it out here on the test course. First thing we're going to do is hit the bumps. We're just going to see what it's like if we did hit some speed bumps. I'm watching the bike, watching how it holds on the tires. It looks like it moves just a little bit, not too much. This is mostly standard with other bike racks, so nothing to worry about. The bike doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Now we're going to go a little bit faster in the parking lot. I'm going to take some aggressive turns and see how it handles there. Looks like it's fine. I see a little movement again, but again, the bike's not going anywhere, so I don't have to worry about it.